No. Go to him. Go to him.
Yo, Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, Reasonable Doubt, here with the all-time greatest host, Justin Harris.
No, it's you, JV Vela. Yeah, welcome back, man. Good seeing you.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. J. Julio Vela here with Justin Harris for the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. It's so good to see you.
God, we have a new place.
Yeah, it's cool, huh?
Yeah, a new time, new era, new things. We have a new president, HCLA going through.
Mayor crushing it.
Crushing it as always, looking to kind of rejuvenate the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. If you're not a member, you should join as soon as you can. There was some pickleball, what I understand, that was going on, maybe a social earlier.
A softball game, I heard.
Softball games coming through, so if you know how to hit, come on through. The luau,
the
luau's.
July.
Luau's coming through. It's the best place to meet people and get a good chill going.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah.
Are you gonna volunteer to be on the dunk tank?
Look.
Because people can, I think what we're gonna do maybe is people can bid to dunk people, so you can see how much you can raise for people to bid to dunk you.
I would bid on me in a wet t-shirt contest.
You'd bid on you? Oh, okay. I guess a dunk tank kind of starts before a wet t-shirt contest.
Yeah,
so.
It's a dunk. You're right.
So, okay, so people can bid on you to see you in a wet t-shirt. That'll make as much money as the dunk, but we can give it a shot.
But like I have, it's good to be back. Man. It's really good to be back. Thank you.
You're not regretting it yet, huh? Okay,
yeah,
good.
No. We have Justin Harris on the table and the lines. Do we still put the line up? Is it still calling?
I think the team
working
phone's not quite. Yeah. No, everything else is going great.
We have Sean Darvishi on the live wire down here. Sean, how you doing? And everybody else who's out there. Look, we have a total of something like 50 viewers right now.
50. Can't all be your mom and mine.
At least.
Yeah.
Anyways, Justin, how's it going?
Good, man. Like you said, we've moved into this place, or the studio has, and we've moved with them, and it's been great. So we've been liking the Houston Media Sources letting us keep coming, doing our thing, and talking about criminal justice in Harris County. So.
Always remember to show the love to Houston Media Source, your source for the best, most creative content around. So let's talk about the courthouse, man.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Not much. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, lots of move. We were just talking before the show that we got a new judge coming in court 12, right? Judge Genesis Draper. She's been tapped to be. She was actually on the show. She's the last show we had. Within the last couple of months, Judge Draper was on. She's now going to be the chief public defender for Harris County. Alex Bunnan is retiring. That's amazing.
Alex Bunnan, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't the first public defender's office that he's built from the ground up. I don't recall where. Maybe New York.
New York, I think.
Was it New York?
Syracuse or
something up there?
I don't know. Some really cold place.
Which is awesome. From the ground up. We're talking from a skeleton crew.
There was no public defender's office until Alex Bunnan.
It was like Alex and like Eric Davis.
Sarah Wood. Jamie
Maselli. They're all still there.
Steve Halpert.
Halpert's, I think, he's in Austin now.
Is he?
I'm not sure. I don't want to misspeak. But I think he's out. I mean, he's been out. Damon was there for a while. He left the PD's office. Who else has left the PD's office?
Left, I haven't kept up. They've left and stayed in defense, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's a great office, and I'm really excited for Judge Draper. I think that's a fantastic move and really good for that office.
What do you think about Judge Draper came from a federal public defender position.
She was with the Harris County Public Defender right before she became a judge.
But at some point I thought she was
Before that,
with the feds.
she was federal. She worked mostly federal, yeah.
Okay, so she did the feds, she did Harris County PD, and then now it's taking over the shop.
Judge, and now it's taking over shop, yeah.
All right. How long has she been a judge? 5 years?
I think longer, right? She was appointed when there was a vacancy in 12, and then I think she's been reelected twice. Is that right?
She's a great judge. In my opinion, Judge Draper, that's her bench.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not her bench anymore,
right.
but
now we found out today it's going to be Ashley Geis.
Couple things. Do you think that the voters were let down, that Draper has decided to leave her bench and go to the PD's office?
I mean, Judge Draper's amazing, so yeah, we're gonna miss her
I
as a
agree. I
judge.
kind of been like, hey, Judge, I need you as a judge.
Well, I was like 1/16th. Like, I love a lot of the judges up there, but you know, I think we're going to have a really good judge in Judge Geis too. She was running for the general election in Court 3. Was it 3 or 16? 16, right?
Yes.
I think she was running in 16, and so, you know, maybe there's some voters who are unhappy that Judge Draper's not going to be the Court 12 judge that they voted for, but there's a lot of voters who voted for Judge Geis also, so they might be now happy that the person who didn't win in that election is now going to be a judge in a county court, different county court.
Was it 16 that she was going for, you said? I don't
Judge
recall.
Garcia's there now. God, I don't like that we're being recorded and live on the spot.
No, I agree.
But,
I agree. County Commissioners Court appointed Judge Geis or
I saw the
governor?
announcement as a screenshot from the commissioners. Commissioners will appoint vacancies in the county courts. The governor will appoint district courts.
So it's a county court appointee.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's good. I think she's going to be great.
Yeah.
She was.
She's been like tearing it up in the DA's office, like reforming a lot of stuff that they have in the misdemeanor division. And
well, I've seen her reading PC down at the county court.
yeah,
County court.
I saw her in court this morning.
She's reading PC.
I was in court. Oh my gosh, court 2. Colby and Brian Garris were in. Colby Dubose and Brian Garris were in trial in there. And at
I
one
heard
point
Kobe and
up,
Brian got not guilty.
They did.
Kobe, Brian, if you're listening, let's if you can post something up, let us know what
Great job.
Well, yeah, what went down, but
Yeah, it was an assault family member case that Colby actually called the arresting officer because the state didn't.
really,
And it was a very, very good trial. But at one point I look up and now Judge Geis is in the room and Tiana's in the room and Chandler's in the room. And I'm like, what is going on? I think they were all there coincidentally for other things, but I was like,
God, I would
I was
hate
like-
to have been that prosecutor.
it's like, Kobe, what are you and Brian doing?
Yeah, they're
like,
just-
oh
they're
yeah.
just filleting and
the Domestic Violence Bureau prosecutors were like, just like, oh God, just let us get through this trial.
Oh my word.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to do.
So
be
so
in
they
their
had
shoes.
all their bosses watching and they lost.
Sean Tier wasn't there, but well, I don't know how long they were there. I don't know what they saw. but-
Respectfully, those prosecutors in whatever court that Brian Garris and
Yeah.
Kobe DeBose were in, I feel it's cool. You're not the first.
Right.
It's cool.
And generally, if it's a domestic violence division or bureau case, it's not always the easiest case from the start for the state.
So a couple things about the domestic violence. Before we get there, if we can
And I'm sorry about that table.
recircle back to Judge Draper and Ashley Geis. So Judge Draper, she's now moving into an administrative role. I mean, she's a lawyer, obviously lawyer, but what do you think that are some of, did you watch her acceptance in front of Commissioner's Court?
I did not.
What do you think
Did
that
you?
snippets, the highlights,
Oh,
and she
okay.
killed it.
More than me?
Yeah, and
Okay.
you killed it, Judge Draper. You nailed it. But as from an outside perspective, what are some things that you think are the tasks that ushering into a new public defender era, probably with Commissioner's Court granting more caseload to
Yeah.
the PD's office? And what are some other, and that's going to have to result in a personnel expansion.
Right.
What are some things that you think that are that she's going to have to deal with?
Well, what you just said, like dealing with Commissioner's Court with
Yeah.
the personnel expansion and a budget, you know, like that. And that's the thing I think why Judge Draper is going to be really good at this is she's been dealing with Commissioner's Court as a county court judge, but also as like someone who got tapped to spearhead the creation of the managed assigned counsel division or department.
Interesting.
And so I think she'll have a really good background for getting things done effectively through Commissioner's Court, where she needs to. I also think she's going to be excellent because she's a trial lawyer. She's a trial lawyer who's tried lots and lots of federal cases like Alex Bunnin. And that's what those offices need. You know, they need someone who has done it and maybe will even, I don't know, I'd like to hear Judge Draper's going to be like Sean Tier and like, you know, try one case a year or something.
Ooh, Draper, we're going to see you in the trial?
I do think, and I don't mean any disrespect to any prosecutor, including Mr. Tier, who I saw try a very difficult intoxication manslaughter earlier this year. But I do think it's different representing people than just kind of picking up a state's case and proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But I would like to see if Judge Draper is going to handle a client's case from time to time.
Oh man, that would be rough.
Wouldn't it? And she'll be tapped on the case that Sean Tier, and we could see there's some chances for like the brackets to line up, or we could see Sean Tier versus Genesis Draper. That would be amazing.
It'd be Godzilla.
Two really good.
Godzilla versus
Mecha Godzilla.
Or Godzilla versus King Kong. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong. I'll take that.
Okay, fair.
I think Genesis Draper is going to be fantastic. Just like Alex Bunnan was coming in, this is a great handoff.
Let's see, we got anything on the live wire here?
Yeah, but other people talk besides us, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what's ups. If you're on the Facebook Live, you should text about Judge Draper becoming the new public defender for Harris County.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal.
Or Judge Geis. Like, what do you think it's going to do? You keep asking me questions. I'm going to ask you. What do you think? So, Sean Tiers put Ashley Geis in charge of all this stuff in the DA's office, picking things up from Nathan Beadle with the DWI pretrial intervention program, working other things in the misdemeanor division, training prosecutors. What do you think? Are they thrown for a loop? What are they doing?
Well, I'd imagine that every case that Judge Geis has touched, it's going to have to be sent to somebody else, right? She's probably touched a whole lot of cases.
Oh, man. She's just reviewed some mitigation packets for some clients.
Yeah. So, there's going to be a whole lot of that.
I'm actually okay with her state. Okay, go on.
One of the things that's interesting about Judge Geis is, from what I understand, it was a unanimous vote of the county criminal courts of law.
Sure.
Yeah, I know. However, we know Judge Geis has been a judge before, been a defense lawyer, right, defense attorney before, prosecutor before, judge's attorney.
Yeah, that's right.
She was a judge's attorney. So Judge Geis is well-rounded in the sense of she can see it from a lot of angles. I wonder, is she going to have to run? When does she run the next?
Oh, I think Judge Draper was just reelected, wasn't she? I don't know. You were talking before we came on, like you had some more information up on the elections, more up on the election stuff than I was.
For the live wire, if somebody could tell us,
the election
is Judge
cycle?
Geis going to have to run in November? Is it going to be in the 2 years? Because if I'm not mistaken, all 15 misdemeanor courts are up, except for 16. If that's the case. There's a lot of races that are going on.
Then I guess she's about to just jump in and start running.
I mean, it's the obvious and best. I mean, some would argue, right? We're not able to take a position, but Judge Geis is also. I mean, she knows what she's doing. Perfect spot. She can go in there, and I'm just wondering if she's going to have to run. She
will. I'm trying to see if I can find this out quickly, but I'm taking too much time looking.
Corey Roth on the live wire on Facebook Live says, big loss for Court 12. Should defense attorneys who take appointments or might one day be concerned about the PDO growing to take at least 50% of the appointed cases?
Yeah, that's actually a conversation to have. Like, so there's a lot of battles going on with budgets and stuff, and I haven't looked down to see what the public defender's budget is. But if there's grumblings about, the budget for paying indigent representation through the contract system that they currently use, then I don't know. I mean, unless Sean Tier's office stops prosecuting indigent people, you're always going to need defense attorneys for people who can't afford them, right? So they either come from the public defender's office or they come through the system that we have largely now, which is the private sector. But even when you have the public defender's office, you can't, I was thinking about this on the drive over, right? You can never have a system where everyone who's indigent is represented by the public defender's office, or by one public defender's office, right? Because they're going to be conflicted out of so many cases with co-defendants and things like that. So you're going to always have to have some kind of a hybrid system that involves private contract attorneys, right?
I don't know, man. I think the answer to your question is yes, is that there will always have to be an avenue to appoint people outside of the public defender system. However, speaking of the budget, and I think we have some budget numbers that maybe we can transition to in a second. I do think that there's a big push because the public defender's office. This is why I asked about Judge Draper about administrative. Right, she's going to have to put on a different hat. Mm-hmm. That public defender's office is going to have. I think. How many lawyers do they have in there now? If anybody knows, please text us. Please put it out there. But I'd imagine they have 100 lawyers.
Oh, sure.
They have 100, 150. They're going to have to get another 100, 150. So to make it to a firm of probably 200, 250 people, I think that's about the size of the district attorney's office. I mean,
alternatively, I don't even want to say the alternative. They have to increase the caseload that each of the public defenders are holding. They keep the personnel the same. They increase the caseload, and I don't want that to drive away because our public defender's office. I don't know if people realize is one of the best. I mean,
it is.
They're really good, and.
Well, let's see. Do you have some numbers? Maybe we can talk about the numbers of the district attorney's office and compare to that.
I've got an old budget, not old. I've got the 2025 budget in front of me, and I was trying to go through here, and I can see one thing like. One of the largest, obviously, is the sheriff. I mean, the sheriff's budget for the patrol division and the administration is $305 million. The sheriff's detention.
Wait, what'd you say?
$305 million.
Okay.
Is the sheriff's, says it's their patrol and administration budget. Their detention budget is $306 million. They spend $1 million more on locking people up in Harris County than they do just driving around and keeping everybody safe. And I guess there's people out there that are going to say you have to lock up some people to keep the rest of us safe. These are people who are being locked up who are presumptively innocent, largely. There's not many people sitting in the county jail who are actually serving sentences. They're waiting because they're presumed innocent and they haven't resolved their cases yet.
Now, as we're talking about it, the communications department of the district attorney sent out this guy, I think his name was Raphael, Harris County District Attorney, Raphael Lemaitre. I don't know, I'm saying it terribly. L-A.
This is a press release from the DAs?
Lemaitre. It's on X.
Okay.
So
it's an official public statement through social media? Okay.
Vibe noteworthy, period. Raphael Lemaitre. Lemaitre. Either way, I'm sure he's a cool guy. I'm sure I know him. I'm just butchering his last name. However, it says, as of today, there are 8,876 people in the jail. Huge drop since high point on 2/2 when POP was 9,905.
Okay, wait.
Exclamation point.
Okay, sorry. You keep going. I won't cut you off.
On the list to move to TDC. Average length of stay now down to 178 days, down from 188 days 6 months ago. All important indicators that we're moving cases faster through the system.
Okay.
So that's from the Harris County District Attorney's Office, basically saying that there's 8,876 people in the Harris County Jail, down from 9,905 on February 2nd. And that the average length of stay is down from 188 to 178 days, which is about 10 days.
I like hearing fewer people in jail, honestly, and I like hearing people staying in there shorter periods of time. But I'd like to know, are those numbers including the outsourcing that they're doing when they're sending inmates off to Mississippi and Alabama or Louisiana? And if the numbers are down, does that mean the outsourcing is going to stop? Because that's got to be a big part of this. But I mean, I'm skimming through this. The sheriff's office has the largest chunk of the budget, it looks like. And then there's another $108 million in the sheriff designated to medical. I don't know whose medical that is, but after that, I can see the district attorney has a budget of $116 million. I'm trying to find, where would the indigent defense be? I saw some other statistics, and I heard that it was 22 million.
What is?
I don't know if it's misdemeanor or felony, but I heard indigent defense is about 22 million. Pretrial services.
How much is that? So pretrial services includes all the conditions and things that you are for on bond. They include the GPS monitor, the scram device, the
Ignition interlock,
interlocks,
the other type of
staffing,
GPS
the
monitor,
drugs.
the drug testing, all that mostly is paid for by taxpayers. $29,151,690.
Should we even
Those are all, and they
spending money
monitor,
on that?
pretrial services only monitors presumptively innocent people who are waiting for their case to be, their allegations by the state to be resolved in the court.
So,
They don't monitor anybody who's been convicted.
Do we have to have drug testing? What do you think?
I mean, maybe in a case where the person's drug use has something to do with why they're there, right? The question I would ask is, do you need to have drug testing on a shoplifting case with like a 17-year-old who takes some earrings out of or some cologne? How many of those cologne cases did you have, like in Macy's or JCPenney when there was a JCPenney?
I mean, my answer would be no.
No, they should not drug test those?
Right.
I would not disagree, especially if it's costing great expense to an individual or to the taxpayers. And I don't know what it's I mean, how many clients have you had go into custody for the reports for pretrial services? I'm not advocating that we go swing that way and shift things back in the jail numbers that you were just reading off, but I mean, I'd like to see because pretrial services, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't exist 10 years ago, right?
No, not that I recall.
If they did, they didn't have a budget that was $30 million.
Do we think pretrial services deters individuals?
Well, that's
on
what I'd like to
bond?
see. Let's track those numbers. If this is a newly created thing, they should be able to track those numbers pretty easily. Go back to when they didn't exist. See like what the recidivism rate is. See what actually not even recidivism, because they're not even monitoring that. The defendant compliance with bond condition rate was. Was it greater then or now? Or revocations of bonds. I bet it was higher back then before the people were monitored.
On the live wire, Ruben Restrepo says the other issues that might come up is the fact that the district attorney's office is dismissing a lot of cases where inmates have to deal with ICE immigration detention.
That's
ICE
true.
is not sending everyone back, and they are dismissing the cases subject to refile. Previously, they would make sure the defendant would get sent back and then stay in Harris County Jail. So the new 2025 immigration policy may have something to do with a drop in inmates or jail residents. What do you think?
That's a good point.
You know,
So
look, I'm a
Does that make sense what Ruben's saying?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Here's the problem. I'm a defense lawyer, okay? I represent people. I'm the Grim Reaper. If you're seeing me, you got some problems. For real.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got some real problems. If I'm sitting across from you,
If you're taking my advice.
yeah, you got some problems. I don't know how I necessarily feel about the state dismissing cases just because homeboys are immigrants. That ain't right.
Well-
and that ain't fair to some people. Like,
That's not what Ruben's saying, and that's not what's happening. They're not dismissing
I think
it
some
because
of
they're
it is.
immigrants. They're dismissing because they can't come back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
Like they get stuck in
don't know,
immigration.
I
What
think-
Ruben's saying is, before Trump was doing this kind of stuff and denying due process, you'd get sent to immigration, you'd resolve your immigration case, you'd get your deportation order, and most of the time, you'd come back over to Harris County, clear this case off, then go out, right? Or ICE would leave you in Harris County, wait till you finish up that Harris County case. When you're done, they pick you up, they take you to ICE, get a deportation order, and then they deport you, or they prosecute you for illegal reentry, keep you in the country for longer in the prison system, we all pay for you, then they kick you out of the country. But either way, that's what they were doing. Now they're not coming back to resolve the Harris County case. And
so you cut them loose? So you say instead
subject to refile.
Instead of a 4-year offer, you cut them a 2-year
There's
offer?
no
'cause
other
homeboys from
option.
Guatemala?
No, that's not what Ruben's saying.
No,
They're
but that's
dismissing cases when guys don't get sent back by the feds.
Ah, I see.
Okay, so they're just cutting bait, or
Cutting bait?
I don't know. Is that the?
I
Am
think,
I using it
and
wrong?
I think it's like
Cut
it's
bait or
like
go fishing?
It's like tossing a burnt fish fry in a
Trash can?
in a
And just throwing it
Louisiana
away.
summer. No, you know what I mean?
No.
I don't know. Okay, that's good. That's a good point. Anybody have any comment on that? Hit us up. Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association.
I don't know. Like, is ICE affecting the jail inmate population? That's a good.
I don't know, man. We've had some trials that are coming up that people are a little bit more scared to come to the courthouse as witnesses.
Like, People who don't have,
People
or people who do have
are
papers.
even people who do have papers or documents. I haven't, but then again, they still come to court. I haven't had anybody not wanting to, not when it's push comes to shove, come testify, because I've reassured them. But then again, I can't predict or stop people in freaking masks arresting people. Or I don't understand. Why do you have to wear masks? Maybe it's just all the social media I get that all the ICE agents are wearing masks. Why do you have to wear masks?
They look like the federales in Mexico.
It's crazy,
who are all wearing
man.
like ski masks when they do that shit.
I would punch you too, man.
I know.
You're coming up with some mask?
Yeah, and they're not
Why are you
well
wearing
clearly
masks?
marked. Like they're not wearing uniforms. If anything, they have a flak jacket on that you can buy on Amazon. And there's been the politician in Minnesota was shot by somebody who was impersonating a police officer and like very crudely doing so, right?
Janelle Robles on the Facebook Live's response to the Restrepo comment about cases getting dismissed in some form or fashion with a lot of other factors, but primarily because there's ICE issues or immigration issues. Janelle Robles, who's a defense attorney, worked for the PD's office, and I think she's back with the PD's or maybe as a personal lawyer, I'm not quite sure, but either way, great lawyer. She's asking, is this mostly for misdemeanor GOBs? Because I'm not seeing these for my felony clients. They're in Harris County Jail custody. From a guy who does a lot of felony clients, yeah, all my felony guys are sitting there. And
they're stuck.
They're stuck in Harris County with ICE holds because Harris County ain't. I know. I mean, and their community outreach person is saying dismissals are down, but every one of my guys is stuck in Harris County. Yeah. They ain't moved. They ain't going anywhere, and they ain't getting any breaks because they're from Guatemala or Honduras or Venezuela.
So it may not be that's resulting in those numbers. We were talking before the show about any interesting ICE stories, and I heard one from another attorney today. Have you ever had somebody charged with possession with intent to manufacture a simulated drug, simulated controlled substance?
No.
Yeah, so this person was charged with that. Family is it's husband, wife, and brother supposedly at a Home Depot. And there's a couple are from out of town. Brother needs to buy some fertilizer and some other household things. Gets some stuff, bag of fertilizer, throws it in the shopping cart, and is pushing it to the front. All of a sudden, ICE grabs the brother and the wife, handcuffs them, and charges them both with possession. And the fertilizer is supposedly something with the intent to manufacture a controlled substance. So best we can come up with was ICE just trying to put handcuffs on them and get them into the system, wait for the no PC, and just take them off. So we're just waiting to see if ICE picks them up like some point during the show. So, have you seen anything like that yet?
No, but what it sounds like are what we say there are no lucky busts. So like, cops just happened to roll upon 5 kilos in the trunk. Nah.
Right.
Or they're just being blatantly racist and arresting people.
Well,
which is possible.
I'm not saying not that.
Yeah, which is possible. They're wearing masks. Right.
They don't want us to know who they are, so they can't be held accountable.
I mean, okay. So
the stuff that's going on with immigration, like I hope that this goes down in history as something we look back on and we are, as I'm ashamed of it right now. But the ones who aren't need to be ashamed. Like what's going on right now is absolutely insane.
From what I understand, the judges ordered the guy who wasn't a gang member back to the U.S., but nobody's doing anything about it. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, Kilmar. He's Christy Noem or somebody said he'll never be back, and he's already back.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah, it's so messed up. They admit their mistake. Another thing they're doing is, there's no in the federal system, there is no procedure for expunging records, right? Mm-hmm. But suddenly all these people who they've sent to this El Salvadorian prison, their records in the immigration system have been expunged. So now there's no way to show this person even existed.
On that thread, and while we're talking about it, if you know anything about immigration, post it up because I don't just enough to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, I've just about said all that I know.
Yeah. So from what I understand, the U.S. is deporting these people or forcing or moving these people to prisons or safe houses outside of the United States into other countries. But then when they get moved to this other country, they lose their rights that they would have if their feet were on this soil.
Or the courts here lose jurisdiction over them.
Right.
They're not a U.S. citizen, and they're not on U.S. soil.
Right.
So they like the court, having jurisdiction over some other person in some other country. Like there got to be some, we're international shoe. There's got to be some kind of connection back to the area.
Statute's
right?
so long.
Yeah, like I forgot that law as quickly
Yeah,
as I could.
the so long, like long,
Something.
long arm.
Long reach.
Yeah, long arm. Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Wow, you've been way more than I do.
I mean, I just think that's terrible. Like, okay, fine. Maybe this guy, not maybe, these people came over what some would consider to be illegal. However, they have a procedure that's in place for them to petition to address their claims.
Or there's another procedure for the government to accuse them of doing something illegal, like entering the country, and prosecute them. But there's a process that they have to go through. Right? And I understand that process is slow. Congress maybe could change laws. They can see it. The public wants to change the Constitution. I'm not in favor of that whatsoever. But there's ways to do this. Instead, what they've decided is to do this in an illegal way, violating due process. And they've come up with slick ways, what they think, to do slick ways to just like totally usurp the courts. And the executive branch should not be able to operate in some way where it's outside of judicial oversight or congressional oversight. And right now, and if it does, it's not executive branch under the Constitution. It is a full-fledged dictatorship. And that's what we have going on right now, is an executive branch, Donald Trump's administration, that is acting like, I don't have congressional oversight, I don't have judicial oversight, and has straight up said, I will not follow these orders. And if that happens, that is literally the definition of a constitutional crisis, and that is someone acting as a dictator.
Hey, yeah, but what do they say? Harmless error.
Well, you know what else they say? You know what else they say? What's that cliche that people roll their eyes at? Like, when they came for the black people, I didn't say anything. When they came for the brown people, I didn't say anything. When they came for the Jews, I didn't say anything. And then when they came for me, there was no one else to say anything. There was no one to say anything to, right? Whatever, I've messed up the analogy.
No, it's good.
But that's what he's doing. The administration is going after every single angle they can to scare judges by what they did with that judge up in Minnesota or wherever, that they locked up for supposedly hiding or running that person off. They're sending messages. I talked to some county court judges in Harris County. I was like, that make you nervous? They were like, are you crazy? Why are you even asking me that? It made all of us scared. They're like, because at that time we didn't know what that judge had actually done. Sounds like she did a little bit more than a judge should do, but it made a lot of people, it had a chilling effect. All this is having a chilling effect, and we're going to start seeing it in all aspects of our life, like what this is doing. And there's a reason why we do not have dictators in this country. There's a reason why checks and balances are so important and why they've thrived for so long. And part of that's dependent on people respecting them, because you can just totally disrespect the system and then it won't work. But if you agree to be part of it, then you got to abide by the rules within it. And
Anapala.
Sorry, I'm getting a little too.
No, Anapala says in response to this discussion about cases getting removed or for ICE and such.
The real discussion.
She says, yes, this is on the Facebook Live. She says, yes, this is mostly misdemeanor nonviolent cases like DWIs. We have heard of some raids throughout Houston too. I have. And I just don't know. I mean, I hate the idea of somebody getting a better deal than a citizen just because they're not. I don't like that. Don't get me wrong. I'll strive for that when I represent individuals who are non-citizens, and some of them do get better deals because they're simply the fact that they're just not citizens. They get cut bait.
They don't get better deals because they're not citizens. They get better deals because they get into a predicament because of their status that makes resolving their case like one way just make more sense.
Agreed.
More efficient.
Agreed.
Right? But you've not ever had anybody where the prosecutor's like, oh, they're an immigrant. Dismiss.
Yeah, no. That's true.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So
that's correct.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to split that hair.
No, I mean, I think that's right. I think that's right.
I mean, I've used that in all different ways.
Yeah.
I had a client who's an alcoholic and they're stuck in their rehab. What, you want to make them come out or you want to just dismiss the DWI? I got a client who's got a serious mental health issues. They're in a treatment facility. You want me to get them out and make them come here or you want to leave them there and just dismiss this case?
I remember there was this one time I was probably like a year lawyer, maybe 2, and the defendant was like a good-looking white guy from Tascasita, and he was charged with distributing a bunch of drugs. The accusation was. And I was talking to the prosecutor. This is 15 years ago. I was talking to the prosecutor, and I go, look at him. Look at him. And he was on cue, ready to go. He said, just good-looking white kid from Humble. And I was like, he's not dealing drugs. And she looked at me, I looked at her, boom, deal. It was good.
A white kid?
Yeah.
So it worked for the white kid?
Yeah.
The white kid from Humble? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
yeah. Look, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You have to, and the system is what the system is, man.
That's a messed up system.
It's a messed up system, bro.
Come on, I don't know where you're
It's a messed up system, but you know it happens. And I think that every day, so long as you're there and I'm there and good judges are there, we can fix that. But income midterm elections.
Yeah.
What do you think? Dems coming through? Republicans coming through? What's the deal? I think historically, people on the live wire, if you can talk about it, I think historically, the incumbent parties do better in the midterms. Is that
Yeah,
right?
but I think that unless something changes in the national politics, I think that anybody with an R in their name is going to get a shellacking in 2026. I may eat
You
those
think
words.
so?
It's unfortunately being
I don't
reported.
know, bro.
Yeah.
You think so?
A Democratic socialist was just nominated as a Democratic representative or Democratic nominee for mayor in New York. Like
Yeah, but he still has to beat the guy whose felony charges were dropped.
Eric Adams. Yeah. And now look.
I can't believe I just said that.
Now-
I literally can't believe I just said that.
I don't think that, I haven't looked at any numbers. I don't think Eric Adams should be totally written off. And even though we're talking about Harris County politics, I will say, from what I've seen, a lot of the establishment Democrats in New York have just flocked to Eric Adams because they don't want the Republican and they don't want they're scared of the Democratic Socialist guy, the 33-year-old. So they're they're going back to the guy, the devil they know, I guess.
I don't understand the devil they know. He's been there before. I'm
Eric,
sorry. I don't know
Eric
anything about
Adams.
New York
Eric Adams
politics.
is running as an independent. So he was elected as a Democrat. He had all of his stuff. He cozied up to Trump. So now he's an independent because he knew he wasn't going to get the Democratic nominee.
And was it because he was taking bribes?
Wow. That's the allegation for why he got indicted.
Oh, they were dropped though. Well, because half the U.S. Attorney's office left
No.
and
so the
said,
rumor,
like, we're
the
not
story,
prosecuting this guy.
No,
we're
story-
not going to do what you want us to do, Trump, right?
The story was that Adams was like, or Adams's office, maybe I'm not supposed to say this, but this was what like I read it, other people said. I'm not saying any of this is true. But that he was like, gosh, you guys are trying to do a lot of immigration enforcement in New York City. It'd be a lot easier for me to help you with that if I didn't have to like check in with this federal court all the time and have to worry about this federal case hanging over my head. And so all of a sudden, his case goes away. And the judge was like, I'm not letting y'all use leverage against him. So the judge dismissed it with prejudice. So they don't have a way to like hold that over his head and say, we'll refile it.
Like we throw this thing about with prejudice thing around. There's no dismissal with prejudice in criminal court. Am I wrong?
In that one there is. I think there is in federal court.
I don't know about federal court. I do know about federal
It could be
court.
with that-
I don't know about that specific
With
thing.
prejudice, if there's like jeopardy attached and there's a mistrial found.
Fair, okay, but
Or
fair.
some other prosecutorial misconduct.
Well, some
or
sort
something.
of right,
Yeah.
fair, but like somebody saying nah.
I hope, because whatever someone feels about somebody politically or even personally, I don't want Eric Adams to have to go through the criminal justice system. So I hope he doesn't have to litigate that and have his lawyers go try to prove that is with prejudice and they can't refile it. But
Speaking of,
it's all just reeks of politics. And so I think, you asked me what I think. I think the midterms, because the Republicans in the big turnout last time, they had a stronger showing than I think some people realized, but it wasn't one that's like, oh, they're coming back.
Dan Simon almost won.
What was that?
Dan Simon's almost won.
What was, right before you said one, what was the word?
Almost.
Almost. Oh.
But Dan Simon's killing it as a judge. Does he?
He is.
He's
no.
killing it as a judge.
I'm not saying anything bad about Dan Simons, to say that like almost winning is not
Winning.
Right. So
results oriented.
if Dan Simons had won, or if Ed Gonzalez wasn't the sheriff anymore, then I'd be like, okay, but almost.
Is Dan up for Judge Simons? Pardon me. Election on this cycle? I think he is.
I don't know. It's one of the new ones, and I don't know how they do those elections on those, because the district courts are already staggered. So I wouldn't be surprised if they opened up some of the new ones and they're on one cycle and some of the new ones are on a different cycle.
I haven't heard anything that somebody's running against him, because I don't know if he's up or not, but Judge Simons, in my opinion, has done a wonderful job in his court.
He hit the ground running with trials, and I went by there the other day. I was substituting him off one of his old cases.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to go have him sign he had to be like, oh wait, I'm not signing for presiding judge. Signing up here as withdrawing attorney.
Speaking of politics, Kim Ogg, Madam Kim Ogg is running, or not running, or maybe in the mix for AUSA for the Southern District.
For Southern District, I heard that kind of. I guess that explains why she's so buddy-buddy with Ted Cruz now.
Well, that's the deal.
She needs that elbow in.
Speaking of Texas politics, what about old boy vetoing
the THC?
Dan Patrick? Right? Is that how it went?
Dan Patrick was making the marijuana, THCA, and
he vetoed the bill, right? I mean, not Dan, but the governor.
Well, yeah, but Dan Patrick was making that his whole thing this last year, and then it came up. SB 3 came up, and then on Sunday the governor vetoed it. Now, he did call for a special session.
Well, they're going to regulate it, I suppose.
Or they want to bring it in and regulate it. Are they actually, I didn't hear though, are they going to have a special session?
I don't know.
Or was it just sort of I think this would be cool in a special session. I'm leaving, bye, don't do a special session.
What were your bets? Was the governor going to veto, not sign, and just let the bill become law, or sign into law? What was your bet? I thought he was going to just let it become law.
There?
Yeah.
Maybe, but why did he veto it?
Money, bro.
Whose money? All the dispensaries?
I'd imagine. Eighth Wonder here, and everybody else here in Texas is, I don't know, maybe Texas is saying, you know what? And
Eighth Wonder what? The beer?
The brewery. They have theirs, and
they have a dispensary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much big money was in it. I figured there was a lot of small money in it.
It's something like, I don't know, I'm making up a number now, $80 million, $80 billion. I don't know, I'm making up a number.
I'm telling you, they could fix so much stuff if they would regulate some of those things.
Maybe give some food for some kids in the summertime for lunch.
Education.
Maybe.
They keep struggling to find ways to just teach kids, and now they're going to sap money out of public schools with this voucher.
Did you see that when
I'm going to get really upset with
Patrick
some of this
was
stuff.
You eat this tonight and see if you live. I was waiting for the meme for the guy to be like,
yeah, right? Where did he go? Where did he put that? He said I could take it home with me.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was just going to let it lie. But I'd imagine.
Does he really believe those things that he says?
He has to, yes.
Do you think?
Yes, I do. I think he believes it. Yes, I do.
I don't know if he does.
Yes, I do.
I've interacted with his son. I don't know how close they are, but I don't think that Ryan Patrick thinks that you would die from THC. Maybe if there's something tainted in there. But if it's tainted and you know that, Dan Patrick, be a leader, like a lieutenant governor, and say, you know what? If this stuff's coming in, we need to make sure it's safe and regulated. I mean, prohibition hasn't worked, if y'all haven't seen that. But
what about,
if you're so worried about safety, there's other ways to make it safe, right?
There are other ways to make it safe.
Just banning everything it's never worked. I mean, when they did prohibition for alcohol, people would come up blind and stuff, trying to make their own bathtub gin.
It's true. It's true. I think
you're not going to fix the human condition.
I guess, right. So now what? So now they put in. So Dan Patrick's statement was, I think, this veto is an acceptance of making marijuana legal in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we're getting a message.
Oh, what it is? What is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
The lethal dose for THC does not exist.
There is no such thing as a lethal dose for THC.
No, and I don't think there's been any, aside from from what I understand, somebody took their life by jumping in front of a train. I don't
Yeah.
know. Dan
You can
Patrick
do
said
stupid stuff when you're under the influence of drugs. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And those stupid things could lead to your death, like drinking. You know, it happens, we like to hear about it, happens every single day. When you're in certain courts, you just hear it yelled over and over. It happens every single day in Harris County, people die from drunk driving. And Dan Patrick, where are you on like banning alcohol? Right?
Dan Cogdale, in other news, Dan Cogdale got,
Dan News?
his, the case against Ken Paxton. Is it Ken Paxton? All of those are dumped, nollied.
Okay.
I think Brian Weiss, as a special prosecutor, was on those cases.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that's over now.
And then Brian Weiss and
Maybe
Ken
Ken
Schaefer they were having trouble getting paid on that.
I'm sure they got paid
We'd
at the
heard
back
about
end
that.
of it.
Because
Those guys,
they did the work.
They're the best of the best.
Sure.
And Dan's the best of the best. Dan he's starting his social media stuff. Have you seen a lot of his
Cogdell?
stuff? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's
What
good
is it?
stuff. It's just him, talking, saying this and saying that and showing his crew.
Ah, cool. Like marketing things or like
I think he's just getting his
Dan
name
having
out there,
fun?
just Dan having
That's
fun.
cool. I should check out some of it.
I agree. Okay, so let's get back to it. So,
I love how you came so organized. Man, I miss you, JV.
well, and so,
Everybody else misses JV. Tell them on Facebook Live.
hey, let me know. Look, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. I'm trying to see some other topics here. Well, and some of the things, people running, according to Murray's blog,
Yeah, you were talking about this.
David Overhauls is running against Judge Unger.
Okay.
I've had no, I know David very well. Judge Unger, I think Judge Unger's got a bad rap. I
Yeah.
think she does everything according to the law. I know I'm going to have big disagreements on that, but she's conscientious, and I don't see. I think they're just being hard on her. She got some, she's
She
following
randomly
the law.
drew some rough cases.
Yeah, I mean, you draw some rough cases. Nathan Moss is running against Judge Lori Chambers Gray for the 262nd.
Okay. I like Judge Gray.
I like Judge Gray too. I think Nathan Moss ran for a misdemeanor bench on a prior occasion at some point.
Sounds kind of familiar.
Nathan, nothing bad to say about him either. I'm not here to say bad about anybody,
Is
but
he running as a Republican?
I don't know.
Okay.
As a Nathan Moss is running as a Republican against Democrat Judge
Okay.
Judge Lori Chambers Gray. Judge Gray's been great, in my opinion. She's been fair. She listens.
She listens. That's
She
what
listens.
I really like about a judge.
Truly. Matt Alford is running for County Court of Law number 2. Judge Goodhart isn't running again, from what I understand.
She's not?
No. Judge Goodhart, I think she's going to be good at anything she does.
Yeah. I was in there today.
I mean, she's going to be good at anything she does.
Matt running as a Democrat, as a Republican?
Doesn't say. I was asking, those are one of the big questions that we had with Murray's blog also, is that he leaves out, I don't know. I don't know if Matt Alford.
Who's going to win?
Well, I don't know if Matt Alford's running as a Democrat or Republican. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anna Edie is going to run in Court 2 as well.
Oh.
I know Anna goes kind of old school. She's been around for a while. I don't have much experience with her, so I can't
like
make
Anna.
any comment on her.
I worked with her on some cases. She's really smart, really good, and very compassionate for her clients.
Allison Mathis is running for County Criminal Court of Law number 3 against Judge Leslie Johnson.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
That'll be interesting. Allison's running as a Democrat?
I'd assume so. I'm not sure.
She's
Once
not
again,
challenging.
Murray, why don't you put out who's running from what side? But
Yeah, I don't know if it's a primary challenge or a general election challenge, but that'll be interesting. Allison had a very successful campaign in the primary against Judge Ramona Franklin.
who beat her?
Edged out by Emily.
Was it DeToto? No.
That's 177th. Oh my God, I just spaced on her name.
I don't know. Allison, great defense attorney, former chief public defender, great reputation, great advocate. I just don't know.
Michelle Onken. I was picturing her name.
Oh,
her face.
Onken,
I was thinking,
okay.
like, red hair.
Yeah, Onken, Judge Onken.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't tried anything in front of Judge Onken. However, I do have some cases that are coming up. I've had nothing but pleasant experiences in her court, and a couple of my colleagues have just finished up a big murder in that court, and were treated fairly, from what I understand, and from what I saw. Abraham Chopin's in that court.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's
in the
back.
trial
He's
bureau?
back. Him and Vlad, they out there. They back, doing their thing. But there are groups that, I don't know why Judge Leslie Johnson has such a big target on her. I don't. Allison is a phenomenal human, and I'm sure that she has a reason for for picking that court. I have heard some things, rumblings, but there's always both sides. I don't know why that's going to be that conflicts me a lot, because I'm really good friends with Allison. However, I haven't heard bad things about Johnson. I have heard bad things about Johnson, but not to the point of that.
I heard today, I set a case for trial in there that, and I was like left with trial dates, meaning like when the judge left, these trial dates were left and I wasn't given a choice. I didn't have anybody to talk to and say, can I not set these for trial? And we got set for trial, and they were told the client can't now take either of the options that the state offered, the time served or the deferred adjudication. So
I don't know. I don't practice in your court, so I don't know.
I don't know what's going to happen with that case now. I guess we're going to have to go try this case, or because it can't be resolved in the way the state feels is a just way. I always find that troubling, right? When a judge, and I'm not talking specifically to Judge Johnson because it's happened to me in a lot of courts, but when judges set cases on a trial docket when neither party is asking for that, right? And it's not like we're talking on a case that's a few months old, not a case that's 2 years old or anything like that, where the court's looking at everybody like you're insane for not resolving this. And courts that have these policies in place that, if you, especially one where it seems to punish someone for going to trial, right? You're never gonna get the deal that you said no to. Like, really? You haven't heard any evidence in the case. You haven't heard anything about the person, but you've already decided that there's two sentences that they're never gonna get. I mean, that just seems like judges looking to put themselves out of a job, and they're gonna be replaced by one of these, right? If we have like scheduling orders and docket control orders and just things where there's no discretion used anymore, then we don't need a judge. We can just use a computer, or AI can do it, right?
Well, I think the AI would just be guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Who writes the code, right?
Yeah, I agree. Rebecca Phillips is running against Judge Baldwin. Man, I guess I just haven't been down in the misdemeanor courts enough to make an opinion. Like, I thought Leslie Johnson was great.
Doing a
I
good
thought
job.
Judge Baldwin was doing right, but Rebecca Phillips is running. Adam Broderick is running against Judge Wright. I don't have beef. I don't know. I think we need to get some people in here who have something to say. I think Judge Wright is a great judge. Liz Buss is running against Cedric Walker. I don't know. Anna Emmons is running for Court 12 also.
So I'm getting a message that apparently, this is referring to our earlier conversation, Judge Geis will be having to run in the 2026 election. When you're appointed, you run in the very next general election. So Judge Geis will be running in 2026, regardless of whether Judge Draper was up again or not. So
Okay. Is she running as a Democrat, I'm assuming? I don't know.
Sorry. I'm getting inappropriate text messages from like leadership of HCCLA.
Are they telling me to calm down?
No, they're just saying inappropriate things.
So we had an indigent defense meeting today, as we shift gears. And we were talking about the county, about budgets, right? Mm-hmm. What did you say the district attorney's office budget is?
This year, there says their budget's $116 million.
For the third or fourth largest county in the country, with filings everywhere, with people say crime is down. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you. Crime is...
The crime's down?
Yeah.
Well, the people who are saying it are the people who track it. So, like, how do you disagree? Like,
I don't know. You're right.
I don't know.
You're right. I'm not saying I disagree.
What do you disagree with?
I'm saying crime is about the same, but I'm only one man.
Right.
And so I guess I'm not seeing the forest. I'm just seeing the trees.
Yeah. Were you
Yeah.
a victim recently?
No, it just, to me, there's, crime is just everywhere. I mean, accusations. I don't know if it's filings. I don't know if these people I'm not here to say these people are guilty or not guilty or anything. There's filings. I mean, there are just filings upon filings and filings, and the district attorney's office saying our filings are down. But I just got an aggravated assault with a Nerf gun, with a Nerf bat. It's a Nerf bat. And there's a
way
picture.
consistent with a deadly weapon?
Yes. Yes. And I'm like, maybe not.
Was
Right.
the person's undocumented, or they only have a green card, non-citizen?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, like the
And that-
possession of. Think about the possession. The fertilizer case I was telling you. What are they going to do? They're going to send the bag of fertilizer to the lab, and they're going to come back and say, yeah, it's fertilizer. It's got this phosphorus and no nitrogen, whatever you put in fertilizer, calcium.
Right.
And they're going to go, yeah, it says it on the bag. You didn't have to test it. The spectrometer stuff's on the, turn it over. There's an MSDS right there for the thing. Like, it's just a way to get the person in handcuffs, get them in the system, and then ICE is like, oh, hey, immigration status, okay, go on over there. That's what they're doing, man. They just,
It's wild.
I haven't seen ICE in the CJC, but they've always been in the jail,
Yeah.
right? And so they know when they show up in the CJC, it's gonna be fucking, excuse my language, it's gonna be crazy, right? There's one door in and one door out of that place. It's gonna be a crazy thing if like ICE hits those floors.
Well,
There's
people
gonna
are
be
dying
panic.
in there right now.
Well, I'm talking about not the jail, the CJC.
Oh, pardon.
If they start coming into the courthouse,
That's panic.
they're gonna panic, and people are gonna have anywhere to go. They're gonna start running down the back halls to try to find the stairwells,
And then
follow
you're
the
gonna
emergency
get,
exercise.
You're gonna get charged up for facilitating.
If you're gonna stand in the wrong spot, or if you hold a door for somebody and you don't know who they are, then yeah, you're gonna get handcuffs thrown on you and like aiding and abetting, or something. We gotta start the rap. So you take us out.
Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, thank you so much for being here with the all-time greatest, with the most.
JB.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 and 2. Be back.